successful careers, and now they're over here in North America on teams that aren't doing as well. Some of that without Froggen being in the lineup in one case here, but kind of proving that they are going to, you know, rise up and surge as his EU mid laners, right? When you already have people like Bjergsen and Jensen who are like taking up the mantle of, well, no, we're the best mid laners in NA.
Yeah, this is kind of the first generation, the classic matchup,
right,
of EU imports over to the North American mid lane. All right, off the bat though, Braum taken out, and that's been a really big pick that's risen in the last couple of weeks, pretty much across the world, because we always talk about the importance of wave clear, especially in the tower pushing game now, but wave protection is an even more rare thing to find in a champion.
True.
And Braum is one of the only champions that can do it. Braum walls, Yasuo win wall, and he's off the table now, so wave protection going to be very, very scarce.
So that's going to be gone. Also, Zed dropped away from Alex Ich. Now, it's interesting to note, I was talking to Froggen this morning, and he's like, guess which champion I have the highest win rate on in the LCS? I played it 7 times. It's Zed. Froggen is like 6-1 on Zed, which you never would have expected, actually, based on what you know about him as a player historically. But that said, still bending away from Alex.
Yeah, actually a lot of assassin bans here, and very mid-focused as well. LeBlanc and Twisted Fate off the table, going to ban those away from Froggen. Nidalee going to be the only jungler banned here. She's been so popular with pretty much all LCS junglers across the board due to her ability to snowball the early game. And with everybody going Strength of Ages on her now, even turns into a very strong skirmish mid-game oriented champion as well. Doesn't even have to be played in a poke comp.
No, certainly not. Just good at fighting at all kind of points of the game. Corki is the first pick coming through here for Echo Fox. It could go to Froggen or Keith here. And it's going to be up to them to determine where they want that one to go. But Corki really not a surprising first pick here. You're seeing he's seen about 70% of games in NALCS. Yeah. That's no surprise.
Really what you're looking for now is what do we take back? Because Gangplank's open. There's so many things that are open. Elise is open. Kindred. There are just quite a few things left up since there were so many target bans here early on. Lulu combo could work out very well and protect Freeze, who has been the big carry for this team. Freeze really is the all-star, even though a team with Alex Ich on it, you would usually point to him in the mid lane, but really it has been Freeze from the bottom side. So I expect Renegades to play around that bottom side, especially now that they've locked in Kalista Lulu.
Absolutely the case here. So that's going to be very fun for Renegades here, and they can let Freeze run wild and kill a whole lot of people. Meanwhile, Echo Fox now can make their own sets of choices here. And I personally like the Draven hover as a call out to Freeze's last game in the LCS, where he had a wonderful Draven game.
Yeah, Keith not so much a Draven player, so I don't really think that he'll go through with the counter. But they do have options here, and as we see on the backswing, Gangplank actually going through to round 2 on the red side picks here.
So a nice aggressive front line, though. Echo Fox really wanting ways to get in on this, and at least an Alistar will be able to do just that. We'll see what they complement this lineup with at the very end of it here, but yeah, very strange. Also,
Fiora
only one
as
of
well
two junglers, but
is,
Fiora's up.
Definitely one of the strong top laners. I mean, there still is Lissandra up as well, floating around. Can be used very effectively against her.
And looks like no Kindred or Graves in this game as they're looking at Rek'Sai here for the jungle. So not caring for the marksman jungles whatsoever. Poppy already locked in as well for this top lane pickup. And you know, a really nice who's who of top tier picks on both these sides.
Pretty good front line here locked in, yeah. Poppy technically could go support, but I definitely expect it to go to Flaresz in the top lane. She's found so much success in the top lane when she gets the early levels and she can get the early tankiness just with an item or two. Poppy really becomes a mid-game menace. And if she's going to be the front line for Kalista, probably will go top rather than having a bit weaker support.
Yeah, and now we'll see what Echo Fox want to go for. They did get their one win on Lissandra for Froggen. That champion is still up, keeping with a Freljord theme for him, of course. And it was with an Elise jungle, so just finding something very aggressive and working off of him could be very successful.
Yeah, could just go the sort of standard route. I guess there's about 70% mid lane Corkis nowadays and 30% around there for AD carry position. They could just give that over to Froggen, and it looks like they will, locking in 2 forms of hard engage for themselves, with Malphite having the pseudo or the Alistar having pseudo Malphite ultimate and then actually getting the real
and then getting
Malphite
a Malphite
ultimate.
or a Malphite ultimate. Yeah, absolutely. Big also very excited you saw as those locks came through. He's like, yeah, all right, ready to go. I'm excited. And I do like this team. There's not a lot of burst follow-up to the engage. Corki and Caitlyn don't exactly one-shot people right away. It's not like it's Misfortune and Graves. But, you know, again, a very big front line and two pretty long-range marksmen to back that up.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because they are kind of split here. I mean, Corki plus Elise and Caitlyn is a very good siege core, and then they have this very beefy front line. So yeah, they can just go with the same old strategy of siege up, line up the entire lane with traps, and then fire out cocoons. If somebody does step on a trap, then they'll be there for a while. Plenty of long-range poke to follow up on it as well. Renegades hovering over the Quinn. That would give them a split push option, whereas they're mostly team fight oriented right now, but now locking in the Quinn for Flaresz definitely does give them that extra avenue to try and end out the game, and having a split push threat. The other thing with Quinn is, even in lane phase, even in mid game, the moment she disappears into Fog of War, the rest of the map kind of has to play scared because of the speed that she does get.
Yeah.
And her ability to turn around mid and bottom lane skirmishes, if you lose track of her for just a second, is huge.
Well, it does mean it's Poppy support after all, as Flaresz does take the Quinn top lane. The thing is, we actually saw this matchup in H2K versus Gamers 2, and the Quinn, played by Odwamna, could do nothing against the Malphite in lane, who just sat there and said, that's cute, I have a frozen heart, and ignored the champion. Last
Whisper is good against Malphite.
Yeah, well, if you want to eventually buy it, but it doesn't increase your damage against all the marksmen. So, well, we'll see what this game ends up being, but the lineups have been locked in, and the players are going to be ready to go here. Echo Fox back in the mix with their full intended lineup. Renegades very recently picked up Hakuho and Flaresz into the roster, but this is the lineup they're going to play the rest of the season with without any new changes, we expect as well. So we'll see which team can do better and pull themselves out of the bottom of the standings. Tweet at LO eSports with the hashtag FOXWin or hashtag RENWin to let us know who you think it's going to be. But the battle of the bottom of the standings, one of these teams will move up and get off that spot, and we'll see if they can keep rising through the rest of this split here. Echo Fox versus Renegades, first game of the weekend here of North American LCS Week 5. The crowd is ready. I am ready. Let's get ourselves into the game. Who's it going to be?
All right, so going over the team comps one more time here. When Fox tried to siege up and utilize the Corki, Caitlyn, and Elise, Renegades actually have a decent amount of tools with actually moving some Poppy over to support. That four-man squad of Lulu and Poppy is pretty good disengage. Poppy ultimate as well as Lulu wave clear can hold out for quite a long time for Quinn to get some split pushing pressure. You know, and with Rek'Sai, the jungler, being locked in to be one of the only junglers that can also answer global pressure.
True.
And Crumbzz use the ultimate. Looks like Renegade's going to try and make some cross-map plays and keep Echo Fox split up. We'll see, though, because obviously a lot does depend on the early game. Whenever Elise is on the map, you have to watch out for the very early ganks. Quinn is fairly squishy.
There we go. KFO loses the shield. Flaresz already getting some early damage. Hey, he's fine. That did no meaningful damage at all to KFO.
Laughs it off.
Yeah, literally. Echo Fox going to send their dual lane to the top side here, and they will run top laner and jungler down to the bottom jungle for what you could call a greedy start, but should not be punished.
Yeah, they're going to do the blind lane swap. Nobody getting deep wards down. Both are probably going to start the Gromp. And
Echo Fox are going to invade this. They could... I think they're going to go try to stop Flaresz and Crumbzz, but their duo is going to be fine.
Can they get it in time here? I think Crumbzz is going to be able to save his smite. What you want to do is always save your smite for this so that you can use it to execute and you don't get it stolen away. There it is.
Gets a smite. They will not get level 2 off of this. Nice Q by Keith. Steals it away. Proper play by Echo Fox. Doesn't really hurt them that much, though. We'll see now if Big can stop Crumbzz and Flaresz. That's really nice. They give him the small P to that red buff so that Crumbzz hits level 2.
Yeah, he wants to be able to at least get the healing from his passive burrow underground. There he goes. Okay. They run them off red, but that's only going to delay them a little bit. Just send Quinn down to continue the push for the lane swap, and it should pretty much even out to equal here.
But look at Hakuho. He's late to the party. Big has already messed with the jungle. They've already taken 2 camps from this part of the map, and Hakuho's like, oh, yeah, they're gone, guys. They've already taken red buff. whereas Crumbzz was prevented from getting red for a very long time.
All right, so a couple steps ahead here for Echo Fox. We'll see if that translates into any meaningful damage on the turret trade, because both of them are going to go for the third wave.
You see a nice smattering of keystones. 3 of them, 3 Thunderlords for Renegades.
Beautiful diversity there, Phreak.
But there's 5 different ones on Echo Fox, okay? Windspeaker's Alistar, definitely superior to Bond of Stone. For those who play Alistar, please make that choice.
The most common.
And Fervor is almost the go-to for every marksman not named Corki.
Definitely agree. Thunderlord's still an option, but pretty much everyone preferring it. So Echo Fox actually are going to be a bit quicker on the turret take. Let's see what they decide to do with this. Because as of right now, Alistar is moving up the lane to try and catch it and bunch it up. Ooh. Oh,
yeah, he's getting a bunch of trinkets
just getting the first early ward down.
So just make sure, and look at this, the red buff. Echo Fox actually 3 buff in a lane swap. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen that.
So
it's not a huge deal. Right?
Yeah, exactly. They do get the buff. The small ones are half the experience and gold, so or just the experience. So it's not that huge of a takeaway, but
just feels good.
Solo gold is going over to the top laners, and KFO is able to punch them up and have them focus that melee, so it'll push back against him. Keep track of that experience between him and Flaresz. Looks like he's going to have a pretty sizable advantage, maybe half a level on Flaresz once Flaresz does arrive to this lane, since they're swapping back to even here as Echo Fox in their duo bottom.
This could be interesting to watch this. They're not going to be fighting just yet as Crumbzz waits around, but Flaresz will be able to walk back into lane with potions and an extra item. If KFO wants to ever buy, I think he would have to use TP to get back into lane without missing a bunch of waves.
I definitely want to check back in on that bottom lane play, because Crumbzz has been sitting there a while. Very patient move from Renegades, and they're going to try and cut off the long lane here with no turret. However, Hard is in the area, and all of Crumbz's patience.
And he knows that was Crumbz's trinket ward. You click on it, you look at who pressed it. Every player should do that, and he knows, yep, Crumbzz was bottom jungle. And of course, they saw Hakuho on the tri-brush ward, so they're going to stay safe. You can see Hard running around, making sure that nothing's going wrong here. And
yeah,
really
but now he's kind of waiting around.
Yeah, and he got spotted by a ward.
I guess he's waiting for a counter gank here, but he had a 1-camp lead on Crumbzz because Crumbzz was trying to set up that play and waited around for so long. But the 1-camp lead is gone now. Crumbzz has returned to farming, and Hard just showing in lane. Gets really nothing done down there. This side of the map is completely empty of camps as well. He will try and pressure at the turret here, it looks like, so maybe he'll be able to freeze some CS. But other than that, the lead pretty much goes to waste. And yeah, and Hard actually, the last 30 seconds or so, kind of thrown out the window. Crumbzz catches right back up.
And it looks like they just needed to push the wave out to make sure all was safe. And yeah, because of the threat of a gank, they had to play that way, and Renegades are going to feel pretty good about this bottom lane. Right now, total gold is equal. Total gold is 8.6, 8.7 each right here. We're seeing KFO and Flaresz do battle in the top lane, and due to the prior freeze, KFO is temporarily ahead, but Flaresz is now manicuring this wave pretty well, and it will push back towards him. And KFO will, pre-6, have to be afraid of the threat of getting Rek'Sai ganked.
Both junglers going to hover around on the top side, and Crumbzz going to try and use Tremor Sense, actually, to get a beat on Hard. Is not able to pass through and find him. Does pass over the ward, though.
Yeah. So now Echo Fox knew he was top side of mid, but can go any way he wants from there. And in fact, Crumbzz, despite getting spotted, will actually be towards the bottom jungle, but then once again gets revealed, going over a different ward here. So Crumbzz has been tracked for the last 30 seconds straight. With his early tracker knife, is putting a couple of wards down. And yeah, Big tried to stop, but Crumbzz actually knows exactly where he is.
Yeah, all these defensive wards actually catching both junglers here. Crumbzz is going to try and catch up in levels and grab this one camp. But he will be denied.
Yep, out he goes. He got a small raptor, and nothing else happens.
So what an option to go for right now is to actually try and push with these big waves, but neither of these teams are doing it. But you can see the big waves that have just been built up. This happens all the time in lane swaps. As you talked about, they were trying to shove into the turret. There's a huge wave bottom for Renegades. Instead of trying to push it into the turret, maybe deny something, they use that wave to go for the dragon, and teleports come in.
They want to fight this one off, so here comes Echo Fox. Who can they land the CC on? Oh no, the stun goes onto Hard. Level 6 on Elise, the flash knock-up. Look at the burst damage. Has to repel into the air, but that means Hakuho could die, but gets a heal and stays alive for now. Now ADC goes in for Froggen, who pops the barrier, but First Blood's already come through onto Crumbzz, and now Freeze on the backside has to kite back away. Echo Fox now running away from the dragon with First Blood in their belts.
That experience advantage, Phreak, that KFO had, level 6 Malphite teleporting in, way more impact than the Quinn, who also came in really late. It was maybe a breakdown in communication there from Renegades because they did not call for the teleport even though Crumbzz stayed in the pit on Dragon. They were tanking Dragon, plus they didn't have their top laner. First Blood goes over to Fox.
They might not have physically seen the teleport. It wasn't actually on their screen. If you're just watching the Dragon, they would have had to look at that brush to see the TP come through, and then it was too little too late. Great job by KFO, managing to find that fight at the right time.
Yeah, the collapse here. Let's see, Hard gets knocked into the wall, and they are not able to finish him off because of the repel and flash out. So close. Keith also heals him on the way out.
Wow. Dragon killed him.
Dragon did so much damage to Crumbzz this entire fight. Yeah, I mean, so even if you don't see that teleport, and the enemy team comes...
Actually, Flaresz probably could.
Comes to contest it, you kind of have to assume the worst in that scenario.
True.
But it's only First Blood money. I think the Dragon still stands to live another day.
Yes.
So we'll see if they decide to fight over that again. This early in the game, it's not worth giving up very much for, as the 6% doesn't give you very much damage.
I want to point out something that Keith did. I think this is very smart in the current lane swap environment where the top laner typically gets solo gold from the turret and the AD carries don't get much. Keith back with basically 450 gold and bought Cole, which I really, really like. He's going to be able to have a ton of extra gold income. Also, basically infinite sustain. It is so hard to get pushed out of lane with Cole plus Doran's. So there's typical Doran start in case of it being a 2-on-2, but then off the lane swap turret kill. Cole, and he's going to be pretty rich this game. Freeze also already rushed Boots of Swiftness, which is interesting. It's very low damage doing this, but he will be very fast. There gets headbutt pulverized. Hard is around. Stun out of Hakuho, who takes up the damage, and he gets pulled in by the Kalista as well. Goes for the knockup, hits big. That's not good for Alistar. Trying to run away, but gets turned into ground beef. But a 1-for-1 as Crumbzz overextends through the package. Thank you, Froggen. 2-for-1 to Echo Fox.
Ooh, I actually thought that was going to be a misstep there. Hard. The Elise Q for the execute in spider form is considered a dash, and it was negated by the Poppy. Renegades getting that first kill, but Flaresz never was able to join the fight again there. So outnumbered, Renegades do lose out. And Fox pulling further and further ahead. What can they do really with this extra man on the field right now, though? Not getting much as far as objectives, just continuing to shove up the lanes.
Yeah, fights this early just means you get wave control, so you maybe deny another 100 gold from getting the waves into the turret and then backing.
Will they? Keith actually not going to continue to shove that bottom wave all the way into the turret. So that should mean that Freeze will get down there in time to catch that very large wave. And he should be very happy about that one.
Look at that, though. Froggen, aggressive in lane, pushing around ADC.
Oh, KFO interrupted the Froggen teleport, it looks like.
The Lulu one, yeah, the ADC one.
So that's why they didn't have Lulu back up.
That makes sense. That explains why Renegades would have pushed in like that. They knew KFO didn't have teleport. And they're like, oh, okay, we can 5v4 this. I did not see that, and that's actually a really big deal. It does mean, though, that after all that control happened, Echo Fox were able to take down the Dragon, soloed by Hard.
Rick Fox is pleased that they have their full lineup, and he should be pleased with the early game as well. See if they can get to their sieging game now, because we talked about the Corki Caitlyn early on. Keith, as of right now, obviously has not been able to max out traps. I'll keep an eye on that, see if he does go for traps number 2, which is the most common build so far.
Yeah, unless you're forgiven. You don't even learn it till level 12 or something.
True enough.
But I agree.
But the majority of AD carries.
I absolutely agree with you. I think traps are the right way.
And that is how they want to play this game.
Of course.
Up with the Corki plus Caitlyn.
And in they go. Cannon Minion dead onto this turret. I don't think there's any meaningful way to defend this, but Renegades actually posture enough to make everyone respect that. Quinn was flanking around the side, and despite Echo Fox having all 5 members, they didn't go for that turret shot. I'm a little bit surprised, actually.
Yeah, Renegades, what they really want to try and do is isolate Flaresz so he can try and build up some experience and extra gold so he can be that split-pushing threat. and then they'll rely on the Lulu wave clear along with disengage from Poppy ultimate. This mid turret though is taking a beating and it might go down pretty quickly.
And Hard continues to solo objectives there. Spiderlings tank the Rift Herald, which means he gets to hit the eye from the back.
Also, he's not moving, so Crumbzz did not get a Tremor Sense ping.
You're right. Almost everyone, just by nature of playing League of Legends, likes to move between attacks, because it's normally a good thing to do. Against Rek'Sai, you shouldn't. Today I realized.
Phreak catching up.
I don't play against enough Rek'Sais, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so even though there are some champions in the game that can solo Rift Herald, I always prefer to have one person, even the support, just anyone who can lend an auto attack. It cuts the time in half for taking that objective. But this time around does pay off as it's just Hard in the pits, doesn't have to move, and he didn't have to give up any other camps.
Yeah.
Able to go clear pretty effectively here, so nice pickup there for Fox, and they hold on to their 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah. Up 2 turrets, a dragon, and a Rift Herald. Sorry, 2 kills, a dragon, and a Rift Herald. I correct myself. This is looking pretty good for the Echo Fox lineup. Talking with the team, they said they like either win all or lose all scrims in a day. It was like really sort of random how well they did. And today seems like a day where Echo Fox are doing well, so that's good for them. Renegades, of course, certainly not out of this game. We'll see what they can push in. Freeze, highest minion kill of any AD carry in this game.
Yeah, both teams actually with only defensive vision right now too, so they'll probably be fairly cautious on both sides. Nobody really can make a move by themselves without multiple members of the enemy team showing in lane. There's a nice dodge on the cocoon there though. Flaresz tries to get some deep wards on the bottom side so he can continue with the split push, but a lot of threat mid here. As we said, that mid turret is very low.
Uh-oh. 1v1 on the top lane. Both teleports are available. Froggen wants in onto AlexSich, gets the Q for the vision, and then chunks Alex to half, but will not Valkyrie for the threat of getting flanked is too high. No further chase there by Froggen. But
yeah,
both mid laners split pushing the top side, then roaming back down to join their teams.
Should just be farm traded over here, as KFO has been able to shove top lane all the way in.
Package respawns, so if Echo Fox want to go in for something, they can. And
I feel like you leave the package in base right now until you get the last of the outer turrets.
I agree.
Right now, Fox really want to play the poke game, really want to siege up and grab the outer turret money. That's really where the big power spike from poke comps really does come from. The mid game, when you get the influx of gold and your outer turrets are still standing, try and use that difference to overpower your enemies.
Absolutely agree. Oh, Infinity Edge and a dagger now in for Keith. So he's got some nice amount of stats. It's weird, I'm seeing every single Caitlyn will actually finish Infinity Edge first, but unless I've done the math wrong, it's actually even less efficient than it is for other AD carries to go Zeal second. Like,
so would you rather go BF Sword into Zeal or BF Sword plus pickaxe into Zeal?
I think it's kind of whatever you can afford. I don't think there's like a specifically one is always better. It's more just Eye Edge is inefficient without a Zeal.
Yeah, the combined cost is really where that comes from.
And yeah, crit damage actually has a weaker than average scaling on Caitlyn because it has diminished value for its headshot scaling. So it's actually even worse than a Brawler's Glove.
Well, he does have the flat damage for getting single shots on the turret and then backing up. If he just wants to take pot shots on this bottom one.
Well, even with that, Eye Edge no longer gives you bonus attack damage on combine. It's the same AD as BF Sword Pickaxe.
So. Yeah. It's pretty much only for the passive, which is low value if you don't have any other crit. We'll see if Flaresz can actually make any use of this Quinn ultimate, because while he has been able to sort of fade back into the fog of war quite often, he doesn't really have the lead to work with. It's not threatening enough, and Fox have been able to just group up, and as 5, they really are not threatened by the level 10 Quinn with no completed items.
True, yeah. Trying to go for the next big piece of that one. Froggen actually did pick up the package, and that was to help them siege the bottom lane outer turret. It's going to time out here, though.
Good choice here by Renegades to trade mid turret for bottom turret, because they will not be able to defend that outer one by themselves. And they're actually going to try and trade 2 here, just leaving Alex there for maybe 1 wave clear. Alex can't even get close enough to Glitterlance, though. That's too dangerous even for a Lulu.
It's going to be an equal trade of turrets, and honestly, I got to say it's a decent thing for Renegades, to be honest, getting tier 1 and tier 2 in different lanes there. KFO was actually sitting in top lane for most of that.
That's where it stops, though. Can KFO stop these backs long enough?
Oh, he can. He can.
Got vision.
He's okay. Only a couple went back and 2 went to go defend. 4 people knocked down the inhib turret. Nicely done by Echo Fox, KFO.
He doesn't even lose his life for it, or a summoner spell, or the ultimate. And the trade definitely coming out on the losing end here for Renegades.
Now this is a little bit risky though, because most of Renegades backed and got to buy items. Echo Fox are staying on the map with a lot of gold in pockets.
And
they're trying to get
Package has timed out now, so they don't have that huge advantage.
Over 1,000 gold per person on Echo Fox. Some are at 1,800 or more. I don't know if they're going to get to recall. Flaresz
as soon as Flaresz goes, they got to back up.
And they're going to go for Crumbzz. They knock it back into the team. He has to flash away. Heart's pretty endangered as well. Repels up, gets away. Hakuho channels the ulti, knocks back Keith. No bot lane AD carry for Echo Fox for a few more seconds. That means that Dragon is started. Flaresz has to flash away from Froggen, but Dragon's still being hit right now.
That's going to be some unnecessary damage here for Renegades, though. They have to back up now. Flaresz lost all pressure. He teleported in, just got chunked and had to flash away. Also losing some minions up top, so Fox is going to be able to get that Dragon number 2 stacking up.
Renegades have to give away complete control of the map as Flaresz walks top lane to catch the wave. Echo Fox realizes this, take the Dragon, walk away.
Which is actually very good for Echo Fox, because sometimes they'll stall out towards the mid game here. Once you take all the outer turrets and they're unable to press in, if you have to deal with so much wave clear like Lulu and the Poppy disengage. But now they'll be able to stack up these Dragons, and the neutral objectives also become an option for them. Pretty big tower lead as of right now, though. 2 extra for Fox.
Okay, well, see what more they can get for themselves. Of course, they've knocked down the top outer turret that wasn't answered, and they got that inhib turret as part of the base trade. That's where that +2 comes from. About 3,000 ups. Got to feel pretty good for Echo Fox right here. And Sorkshoe's done on Corki. He's got, you know, all the mid-game power you could want right now on that champion.
Yeah. So the Renegades are actually looking to try and turn around one of these sieges for themselves. See if they can get one into... They take so much poke damage every single time, though.
Yeah.
Flaresz is level 11 on the Quinn and has amassed a decent amount of CS for himself, completing Ghostblade now, so anyone without a bunch of armor, aka not Malphite or Elise, could be a possible target. They're so behind in experience, though.
Yeah. I honestly find it very interesting that Flaresz went for Youmuu's as opposed to like Ma or something. If he's planning a split push against KFO, you get stats that would be good against Malphite, meaning % pen or magic resist. So it speaks to me that Flaresz wants to try to assassinate backline against his team, against Echo Fox. Him getting able to is going to be difficult.
Maybe they could 2v1 though. That helps with assassinating. Fox, KFO does have his ultimate though, so he's fine.
It does burn the ulti at least, so KFO not going to miss that cooldown and has not bought any cooldown reduction in his build. So could be a window that Renegades can work around. Hard actually has to hold the top lane right now, has to catch the split push here. In fact, Renegades are now in control of the map. They've pushed in most of the waves, and they are first to invade and get some wards into this jungle. Blue trinkets and sight stones in hand.
Yeah, they're trying to use the extra mobility that they do have.
They want in. They want in. Echo Fox don't realize that they're right across the wall. 3-man knockup. Turned back around by Big. And look at the damage. Hakuho's already gone. And Renegades wanted that fight. But Keith assassinated by Flaresz. Well done to the Renegades top laner. A 1-for-1. But now Renegades have to run away. Froggen real low. Pushes and pops the barrier. Dodges the Glitterlance crucially.
Flaresz got to worry right now. Hard's got extra move speed.
Youmuu's popped the flash, the kill, and another team fight win, and another kill picked up. A 3-for-1 to Echo Fox.
That's going to be some extra pressure for them. Their minion wave's actually not pushed up right now. And with Lulu still on the table, I feel like Renegades can defend their turrets. Dragon's down, and it's too early to go for Baron. So even though it is a big team fight victory there, doesn't look to be much in the aftermath. All right, so Kalista ultimate used early. Teleport does come in at the right time. But Freeze is going to heal, and then Freeze's hop right here is also going to dodge Big's flash pulverize. But look at that AoE damage. Crumbzz and Hakuho get annihilated as Froggen just dumps the artillery on top of them. Flaresz gets his assassination, and the flat armor pen does work on Keith, but the front line here, KFO with the Malphite and Hard with the extra move speed on Elise, are able to turn it around. That flash Q did not quite kill Crumbzz, but that follow-up. Yep. Sticking around a little bit too long there.
Yeah. Crumbzz 0-3-1, honestly, as one of the 2 tanks in the team. Renegades are, of course, the tanks are dying most in team fights, unsurprisingly, but not having the best scoreline for himself here on Crumbzz. EpicSkillshot pushing right back in, packaged up for 30 more seconds here, and I expect that to get used, or at least the threat of it should keep Renegades honest. Malphite plus Corki package is actually, decent team fight starter if you start getting ahead.
Actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Renegades, they want to try and use their, split pushing Quinn. Uh-oh. But here comes Froggen.
Bad for Flaresz. Is Froggen? Oh my god, look at the damage output. It's getting a bit closer though. Never mind, he's gone.
Nope, not too close.
Yeah, Flaresz ran out of offensive tools and just tried to run away. It wasn't going to happen. Well played by Froggen. The split push kill 2-0 and 4.
Yeah, that's the problem. You want to use your split pushing threats, but you're behind at this point, and Fox also have the ability to tower dive with Alistar starting it off and Malphite plus the package. So threatening. Phreak's going to try and
catch a knock-up. Are going to buy a little bit of time with Repel. Rocks right back down, though. I think he was spamming E and jumped right back down to the ground. Shut down kill, goes through to freeze. Good thing for Renegades.
It is a pick for them. Kalista ultimate now quite a bit longer.
Big gets spotted. I don't know why he wanted a recall right there, but now it's in a really bad spot. Does not have flash, has nowhere to go. Easy kill to be picked up. Alex gets it, 2 for 0 to Renegades.
All right, picking up kills across the map. That's definitely a good thing there for Renegades to try and get back in this. They really need to get vision while they have the extra man advantage, though. Whoa, they're starting the Desperate Baron here.
I think it's a really good idea, honestly. You saw how far away people were right now.
Malphite has ulti.
And they have Froggen without package. Baron down to 6,000 health. This is the fight that matters. Neither of the dead members have teleport. They have to walk to get back here. That'll take 15 seconds or more. Baron is not dying fast, though.
No Kalista ult, remember.
Just buying so much time, and there's not even Kalista hitting it. They walk away cleanly. Pink ward killed away.
Yeah, that's
picked up for Baron.
It's such a risky move when there's the impact of a mid-game Malphite ultimate, and KFO is beefy enough that he can actually go in there and make sure your team tanks Baron during the knockup duration. So it's a very risky play. I think it may have. I mean, obviously the safer play is to just try and use that time to set up vision.
Yeah.
But Renegades try and go for it to jump back into this game. It does backfire a little bit.
Top lane outer might have been a target, but didn't happen. Mid lane tier 2 goes down. EpicSkillshot doing a good job of capitalizing off of Renegades taking a lot of damage due to that Baron attempt. Dragon's on the field as well. It's easy to walk back to and pick up Dragon number 3. That's likely what happens here for EpicSkillshot.
Yeah, they should be able to continue stacking really easily. There's no vision for Renegades, and Renegades, this squad cannot face check into a 5-man Fox lineup. Crumbzz is going to go look for it, though.
Ooh, big in the brush. It's going to keep the team from walking into anything. Oh, the flash knockup, big, but he was onto a trap. Somehow couldn't get back around, but there's the kill on the Dragon. The engage comes in from KFO, doesn't find any kills just yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what kept Big from walking. It wasn't a Caitlyn trap. It's on his team. But just didn't get the knock in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst there. I mean, there was a little bit of miscommunication. They probably could have grabbed a kill, but they got the Dragon. That's what they wanted. Number 3 stacking for EpicSkillshot. Renegades are able to trade top turret. At least get a consolation prize there for themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 turrets to 6. Renegades have answered some of this back a little bit, but 3 Dragons to nothing feels pretty good here. You know, you got the early sieging, you got the turrets.
Yeah,
literally, that's a Dragon control.
EpicSkillshot endgame plan, just group.
Yeah.
Renegades are going to try and split them across the map, but we've already seen there's little to no threat from this split pushing Quinn. And even Froggen, if he gets packaged, can go answer that. So
yep, no cleaver, no maw. A scarce small amount of crit thanks to an Essence Reaver here from Flaresz. But really just...
Yeah, what's he going to do against
Randuin's Sunfire Malphite, who's now starting on his Iceborne Gauntlet or Frozen Heart.
And with the teleport up for EpicSkillshot, they can just pull that 4-1 and try and push up into Renegade's territory.
Okay, well, here comes the push towards the mid lane. Right now, EchoFox are giving away control of the top lane. AlexItch split push with impunity with teleport. So on a bit of a timer here are EchoFox. And they are not sending anyone up. In fact, they've already brought Malphite up as well without pushing the wave in. They're going for the 5-man push towards the inhib turret and imposing their will on this game.
Yeah, Flaresz does not have teleport, so Renegades opting to have him split push means that they're going to concede this turret.
4 traps up,
He's not
red
gonna
buff
come.
on, turrets taking plenty of damage, and yeah, Flaresz will not join the squad at all. You don't want to fight this Renegades. You couldn't possibly win a 4v5. Turret goes down, the push goes in. They're looking for an inhibitor now to take. Crumbzz goes in finally, and it's already after. Alex is already dead. There's a knockback. Crumbzz is gone. Flaresz is still not in the fight. It's a 3v5 at best now. And here he comes from the back, hits a minion twice, and says, just kidding, guys. I can't win this one at all. And Hip goes down. EchoFox walk away.
Yeah, nice split push. It's just a prank. Aren't able to get anything. Inhibitor goes down. Honestly, Fox could have taken another inhibitor, but they're going to grab Baron instead. I guess
Crumbzz is dead. It's the greedier choice.
it's definitely the greedier choice. They could probably pull it off due to how far ahead they are, but this does give you that small window where maybe Renegades get a miracle steal. They do have Poppy.
1,000 health. The knockback misses.
Some dirt flew out of the Baron pit. That's about it.
It's some spiderlings, maybe?
Oh, yeah, he got spiderlings.
Blue team is slain Baron Nashor. Flaresz now wants to kill Froggen, but hello, that's Alistar.
Don't always get what you want, Phreak.
Snuffed out. No more Flaresz this game.
All right, so tiny bit of greed there. Pretty easy for them to capitalize, though, and that's going to be another inhibitor push. But, man, this...
That cocoon.
Honestly, when you're facing a team that has Alistar Malphite, they're begging to tower dive. And if you have a non-teleport split pusher down bottom, that is just opening the doors there for Fox. Honestly, it's hard to critique them just because there are very little options open to them.
True.
But that's not a good one.
I mean, they picked a split pusher that can't beat Malphite. Like, realistically, you look at that champ select, I'm like, I literally yesterday saw that matchup go badly. Like, do you watch EU LCS? It's the better league. There's better players.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I just mean because of Worlds.
Whoa.
We have Froggen now. We're better now. I got this. Just kidding. Just kidding. NA's better, right, guys?
Struggling with this one.
EchoFox pushing in, though, under 30 minutes. Looking at their second inhibitor kill of this game. 6,000 gold up, feeling real good about this lineup being together.
How can you say that? Dressed as Abraham Lincoln, Phreak. All right, inhibitor number 2 goes down, though. Oh, no, Flaresz! Turn into a bird, quick! Get the bird to carry you.
He just
to
sent it out
safety.
into the minion wave.
Oh!
Flashes, but it stops the channel. He's running. Hard catches up a little bit. All right, he's going to let him go.
Yeah, he actually doesn't even turn into the bird. The bird just comes to help.
It's true. Hops on top of its back.
Yeah.
Really big bird. It's like the Land Before Time or something.
All right, this turret's going to go down. Predict. Let's take a keep track of this Baron power play, I guess, because that's fun to do.
Oh, yeah. This is a new thing. I
As
forgot
they
about
destroy the rest of the base.
They've got 6 seconds left.
Yeah, it's a little bit disingenuous because the game is in hand here for EchoFox. Baron buff +2 inhibitors. Really, all you have to do at this point is wait. If you keep presence at the enemy base, minions will do so much work for you.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, Froggen will also do work for you.
Yeah. Froggen's doing a lot of work, honestly. Okay, knockback onto 1. That's an Alistar gone.
Got more than spiderlings that time.
Turret goes down. Flaresz hits a trap on his way in. 1 hit from Dead, has to run away. And a nice tackle there by Poppy. The knock up onto Keith. And it's a lot of damage thanks to Crumbzz, but there's just not enough to be dealt. There's the rampage for Froggen. The knock up from Big. 2 kills picked up. You're looking for 3 inhibs and maybe the game right now. Oh, no one actually blocks the shot, but that's going to be okay. All inhibs are dead. Flaresz can't do much else. Here comes the last push into the Nexus turrets. Turret number 1 going down. Plenty of fantasy points for EchoFox team right here. 11 turrets, 3 dragons, a Baron. Another push in for the win. They're going to get it in 31 minutes and 20 seconds and change. EchoFox get their second win against Renegades.
Froggen back in, and the victory screen pops again. Congratulations there to EchoFox. And Renegades continue to struggle despite whatever roster swaps they can come up with.
Yeah.
Not really able to make it fit.
Froggen, most damage in the game by far, 27,000.
Mid lane Corki, Most damage in the game, not surprising. He did play very well, though.
Played super well. Highest CS in the game. He had 70 more than his AD carry. Highest co-participation, 11 of 12. 0 deaths. He beat up every single solo laner he could find. Froggen did absolutely amazingly in that game. He played very, very well. Echo Fox were in control the whole time. And this is their 3rd game on stage with this lineup. And it's 2-1.
Yeah, that's got to feel good for them. You know, after everything they've tried to overcome early on in the season. It's a new half of the season after today, though.
Their wins were against Sub-Squad Impulse back in week 1 when the Koreans weren't over, and against Renegades here in week 5. And now comes the hard part. Tomorrow they face Energy. Energy, look, you do well against those guys, that means you're here for real, and that's going to be something to watch for Echo Fox fans.
Yep. Speaking of Energy, coming up next versus CLG. Battle of some of those number 2 teams that we have in North America. Break another one of these ties. As of right now, Echo Fox have just broken their tie with Renegades and move up to number 9.
And it's got to be rough for Renegades here. Some of it is they suffered some roster changes.
Yeah.
You know, Remy stepping down hurts the synergy. She wasn't satisfied, I believe, with her performance on stage. Hakuho being pulled up, and they've got to, gel with him, and that can take time. To my knowledge, the switch up of Flaresz in for RF was intentional. It was, they wanted an upgrade in this top lane, but this Flaresz game wasn't as good as the last one, right?
No.
Previously, he played that Rise, was like, all right, yeah, you started out 2-0, this is pretty solid, but here he picks Quinn into Malphite and has no impact kind of the entire game, and that's not a good start to your season with a new team.
Yeah, it's not looking great.
No,
not looking great for this squad.